Now, this is a big change, and it comes as pressure mounts from Democratic governors and mayors across the country, warning they cannot continue to care for hundreds of thousands of migrants. It has all left President Biden on the defensive and trying for a second day now to explain why he flipped on building more border wall.
I was told that I had no choice, that Congress passes legislation to build something, whether it's an aircraft carrier, a wall, or provide for a tax cut. I can't say I don't like it. I'm not going to do it.
The president is facing immense pressure from prominent members of his own party to put a stop to construction of the wall. Democratic Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez released a statement saying the president needs to take responsibility for this decision and reverse course. Walls only serve to push migrants into more remote areas, increasing the chances of death. It is a cruel policy. Republicans are also calling out Biden, accusing him of being hypocritical. Remember, Biden mocked the border wall in his campaign against former President Trump. The big picture is that American cities and towns are struggling. From New York to Chicago to Detroit, migrants are now sleeping on police station floors, in airport lobbies, and on the streets. So for more on these two immigration policy shifts and the political firestorm they have ignited, let's bring in Johanna Maska, CEO of the Global Situation Room and a former White House aide to President Obama. Also joining us is former Republican representative of Pennsylvania, Charlie Dent. Good to have both of you with us. Charlie, these are two enormous shifts in Biden's policies. He's getting hit from all sides. Biden says he doesn't think border walls work. He says he has no choice. Is that really the case?
Well, it's really imperative that the United States government establish operational control of the border. Barriers, fences, and other types of restrictions are needed, particularly in urban areas. And I was one of the original co-sponsors of the Secure Fence Act of 2006. And I believe President Obama voted for that when he was in the Senate. That bill, or that law, essentially authorized 700 miles of vehicular and pedestrian barriers on the border. And I'm not saying we need barriers from sea to shining sea, not by any means. But we will need those barriers, and it's important that the president remain flexible. You don't only need these barriers, but you're going to need more detention beds. 38,000 isn't enough. We're going to need more Border Patrol agents, access roads along the border, sensors, technology, and to fix the asylum laws. Many of these people are coming in claiming asylum. They're not legitimate asylees or asylum victims. They really are people who are economic migrants. And so there's a lot of work to do. So I think the administration has to heed the call of these governors around the country who are being overwhelmed. A great country like the United States must be able to manage entrance and exit in a much more orderly way than has been the case up to this point.
Johanna, it's a twin issue here. The first issue being, is 20 miles of wall and the deportation flights really going to make a difference? The second issue being how the Biden administration is handling this. Yesterday, first we have Alejandro Mayorkas, the Homeland Security chief, saying this is an acute crisis, an urgent need to build this wall, followed hours later by Biden saying walls don't work. And now a day two of him trying to say and justify the flip-flop. It doesn't appear to be well managed politically, at least.
Yeah, and I agree with Charlie. It is, we're facing this crisis. It's going to continue. The way the global economy is, inflation around the world is terrible. We're like the healthiest of the sick patients in the emergency room, and everybody's coming here. And we've got to have a whole solution. You can't build a wall and let people starve on the other side without building resentment and all sorts of other issues. And if we were smart about this, we would have a coordinated federal government, local government, state government response that empowers our churches, our places of worship, the people who care very deeply about the human beings who are showing up on our border, Elizabeth. But the problem is it's political, right? So Biden is now responding to AOC. And look, I think he did the right thing.
Thanks so much for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.